Hello students, good morning. Welcome to online class. Students, today we are going to read that is theme 3 and the name is kinship, caste and class between 600 BCE to 600 Common Era. So this theme is from book 1 of Indian history. So this is the second part of this theme, and today we are going to cover the following topics under this theme: social differences within and beyond the framework of caste. Under this, the subtopics are the right occupation, non-Kshatriya kings, jatis and social mobility, and next topic, beyond the four varnas, integration. Next one, last topic, beyond the four varnas, subordination, conflict. So these are the topics which we are going to cover today. So listen students, this part is very important from board examination point of view. So watch the video carefully and listen to my lecture. So students, so far we have studied about the patrilineal, rules of marriage, types of marriage, gotra of women and importance of mother. Now moving ahead, we are going to discuss social differences within and beyond the framework of caste. I repeat, social differences within and beyond the framework of caste. So here the word you should give more and more importance to what? Caste. The term caste refers to a set of hierarchically ordered social categories. I repeat once again, the term caste refers to a set of hierarchically ordered social categories. Generally, this word caste in some areas we are calling as what? Jati or kulam. Jati or kulam. This hierarchical order, this hierarchically arranged order was laid down in the Dharma Sutras, where this system of hierarchy order was laid down in the Dharma Sutras and Dharma Shastras. So in Dharma Sutras and Dharma Shastras, it was mentioned the caste hierarchies. Brahmana or Brahmanas claim to be on the top of this hierarchy. So who is top in the hierarchy of the caste system? Brahmanas or Brahman. And while the Sudras were considered or kept under the bottom of this hierarchy. So top of the hierarchy of the caste system, Brahmanas, and the bottom part is Sudras. In between this top and bottom, two more people are there, that is Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Now, okay students, you understood? Now we are moving to the next topic, the right occupation. The right occupation. So what is meant by right occupation? The Dharma Sutras and Dharma Shastras also contained, apart from the caste hierarchy, the Dharma Sutras and Dharma Shastras also contain the rules about the ideal occupations, the rules and regulations about ideal occupations of the four categories or varnas. So caste of, the four categories are also known as what? Four varnas. Four categories, four varnas. So in Dharma Sutras and Dharma Shastras, apart from that caste hierarchy, all the four castes, so about right occupation also they mention. So what are the ideal occupations for each category, of the people. Brahmanas were supposed to study and teach Vedas. This is the prime work of the Brahmanas, the upper caste people in the society, who always considered as the superior and treated all other people as what? Inferior. So Brahmanas were supposed to study and teach Vedas, to perform religious practices, religious rituals, etc. They also perform yajnas. So they are mostly concerned with what? That religion. Now coming to next category, that is what? Kshatriyas, who are known for their vigor and their war, their fighting nature. So Kshatriyas were engaged in warfare. Their main task is warfare and protect the people and administer justice. So warfare, protecting people and providing justice, these are the three tasks or occupations which are performed by Kshatriyas, and Kshatriyas are considered down to Brahmanas, second position. Now coming to the third category people, they are called Vaishyas. So these Vaishyas were engaged in agriculture, pastoralism and trade, or I can say they engaged in trade and commerce. Vaishyas, in Hindi we are calling Baniyas. So Vaishyas who were in addition expected to engage in agriculture, trade and pastoralism. The last category, which is the bottom in the hierarchy of the caste system, that is Sudras. They were Sudras. They were not allowed to access wealth. They were not allowed to access education, and they are always deprived all the things. And these Sudra people are supposed to assist all the above three classes. Sudras were assigned only one occupation, that of serving the other three higher category people. To serve other three higher category people is the only one task that is possessed by the Sudras, and they are underprivileged. Now coming to next topic, non-Kshatriya kings. Who are non-Kshatriya kings? Generally kings are Kshatriyas only. Every king belongs to Kshatriya category. But here we will read non-Kshatriya kings. Who are they? So according to the Shastras, only Kshatriyas could be kings. As per the Shastras written, only Kshatriyas are supposed to be the kings. However, several important ruling lineages probably had different origins. I repeat, however, several important ruling lineages probably had different origins. The social background of the Mauryas, who ruled over a large empire, had been hotly debated on this one. The social background of Mauryas, who ruled over a large empire, has been hotly debated. The Sanghas, S-H-U-N-G-A-S, the Sanghas and Kanvas, K-N-V-A-S. The Sanghas and Kanvas, the immediate successors of the Mauryas were Brahmanas. The Sanghas and Kanvas, these are the people who are the immediate successors of the Mauryas were Brahmanas. Here Sanghas and Kanvas are Brahmanas. They are the successors of the Mauryas or Mauryan king Kshatriyas. Other rulers such as the Sakas, who came from Central Asia, the Saka people came from Central Asia, were regarded as what? Melanchas. The Sakas were called Melanchas or barbarians. Barbarians here means uncivilized. Barbarians, uncivilized, of outsiders by the Brahmanas. So who considered them as outsiders? Who considered them as barbarians? Who considered them as Valanchas? It is Brahmanas who considered the Sakas who came from Central Asia as what? Outsiders, Melanchas and barbarians. Now coming Jatis and social mobility. Jatis and social mobility. In Brahminical theory, like Varna was based on birth. Everybody is Varna or is Varna is category based on birth. Nobody have a right to deviate from that one, deviate from that path. So in Brahminical theory, Varna Jati, in Brahminical theory, Jati like Varna was based on, Jati and Varna both are based on the birth. While the number of Varnas were fixed at 4. Generally there are 4 Varnas already we have studied. There was no restriction on the number of Jatis. There is generally Varnas are 4, but there is no restriction on what? Jati. That's why in Kshatriyas also different people are there. In Brahmanas also different people are there. In Vaishyas also different people are there. Okay. Brahminical authorities encountered new group. For instance, people living in forests, people who are living in forest areas, such as the Nishadas. Remember Nishadas. Who are Nishadas here? People who are living in forest areas. People who are living in forest areas are called Nishadas. And that is Eklavya. You have read about Eklavya, an important character, a warrior in Mahabharata. He is a what? He is a Nishada. So Brahminical authorities encountered a new group. For instance, the new group people are people who live in forests such as Nisadas, or wanted to assign a name to occupational categories such as the goldsmith. People were doing the gold works, jewelry work, goldsmith, or we can say Swarnakara. Goldsmith are also called Swarnakara, which did not easily fit into the fourfold Varna. So this Nisadas, the goldsmiths, or this Swarnakara, these people which did not easily fit into the fourfold Varna system, they classified them as what? They classified them as a Jati. They consider themselves as a Jati, Nisada Jati, like this. Now, beyond the 4 Varnas, that is integration. Beyond the 4 Varnas, integration. There were and always have been populations whose social practices were not influenced by Brahminical ideas. There are some people, there is some population whose social practices were not influenced by the Brahminical ideas. Categories such as the Nishada people are not at all practicing the Brahminical ideas. So Nishadas, to which Eklavya, I mentioned Eklavya, is supposed to have belonged to this Nishada category. Sometimes those who spoke non-Sanskrit, language were also labeled as Melanchas. Melanchas are the people who came from Central Asia. They are barbarians, they are outsiders, and they are not speaking Sanskrit. They did not speak Sanskrit. Non-Sanskrit people, Melanchas, and looked down upon. They were looked down upon. Now, there was nonetheless also sharing of ideas and beliefs between these people. Now coming to our last topic, that is beyond the 4 Varnas, subordination and conflict. So beyond the 4 Varnas, subordination and conflict. This is our last topic of this video. Now listen, students. While the Brahmanas considered some people being outside the system, the Brahmanas considered some of the people outside the Chaturvarna system. They also developed a sharper social division by classifying certain social categories as what? Untouchables. So who are untouchables? Untouchables are those people who are always kept outside the Chaturvarnas by the Brahmanas. So the untouchable people are not at all considered in the four Varnas. Okay. Now, the Manusmriti, one book name, the Manusmriti laid down the duties. The Manusmriti laid down the duties of the Chandalas. Chandal are the people who lived in the graveyard. Who helps in burning the dead bodies. He used to live in the corner of the graveyard in the hut and putting all torn out clothes, unwashed clothes, and he used to eat food in the unused utensils. So Chandalas. So Manusmriti laid down the duties of the Chandalas. They had to live outside the village. They're living outside the village, they're living in graveyard. They're living outside the village, they're living in graveyard. Moreover, whenever that person comes to the village, nobody should face in front of him. Nobody should face that person. People will move side. So they'll have to live outside the village, use discarded utensils, unused utensils, the utensils which we are throwing out, that discarded utensils, in that utensils they should take their food. Okay, and wear clothes of the dead and ornaments of the iron. They always used the clothes of the dead people, and they always used ornaments made up of iron. So Chandalas are the people who are lived outside the village. They live in graveyards. Their work is to burn the dead bodies. They used the discarded utensils. They wore the clothes of the dead people, and always wear the ornaments made up of iron. By examining non-Brahminical texts, which depict the lives of Chandalas. So the life of Chandalas, you want to know, you have to read the non-Brahminical texts. Historians have tried to find out whether Chandalas accept the life of degradation prescribed in the Shastras. That we have to see whether whether they accepted, Chandalas were accepted the life of degradation prescribed in the Shastras. This is the end of our today's topic. Now we will join with some more topics of the same theme in another video. Till then, have a good day.